Cowboys Nation and YouTubers? Is that VA Dallas Cowboy fan coming back at you? Excited? Training camp is upon us. We've had our introductory, what do they call it? The state of address, state of the Cowboys address from Jerry Jones, which everybody's talking. You don't hear anything from Pittsburgh. No, it's all about the Cowboys. Because Jerry Jones had feelings, y'all, and everybody wants to joke him for it. I don't understand why. I don't get it. The man was feeling emotional. He was happy to be out there with the team again. He's trying his damnedest to get another Super Bowl. He said he'd write a blank check to do anything to get back in the Super Bowl. The man actually admitted that he effed up the dealings with Jimmy Johnson. That tells you that something inside of him has finally changed. And I believe it began with letting go of Jason Garrett. Letting go of that whole ideal. Letting go of all that was those Cowboys. Because it didn't work. You've had like 10 years, 9.5 years of Jason Garrett and nothing worked. That was you in your mind thinking you were better than what was going on. And when you found out it didn't work, it finally hit you. The players weren't clicking, the coaches weren't clicking, something was not working in total. But now that you're starting to admit your failures and your shortcomings, I think that's going to take him to a new plateau, and it's going to help the team as a whole finally get some monkeys off their back that they're not the 90s teams. And without a right coach and owner GM working things together in tandem, it's never going to work again. But it's nice to see, that they got a symmetry going, that things are looking up. Other than that, I wanted to get into our news for the day. Thank you, Omar, on Twitter for tweeting this stuff out earlier today. He's a great follow. Omar N on Twitter. From Michael Gelkin, Francis Bernard, backup linebacker, pulled a hammy in the first hour of training camp today. He is done for today. Hopefully it's not serious, because those soft tissue issues like hamstrings, those things are so unpredictable. They've come back to bite us in more ways than one with multiple players over the years. And, if you can't get over that, you're not going to have a very long career after that. I hope Bernard's injury is a small tweak and he's able to get back on the practice field sooner rather than later. Our PUP list. We have, of course, Amari Cooper out with his ankle problem. It's an irritation. Everybody's saying that it's more of a precaution. It did have an irritation. That's why he didn't participate in OTAs and June minicamps. But hopefully it's nothing serious. But as we've seen last year, even if it's a little more, he doesn't want to miss games. And we don't want him to miss games. So hopefully he's back on the practice field sooner rather than later. Chauncey Golston, defensive end, he tweaked his hamstring yesterday, I do believe, in the pre-test, the warm-up test that they do before they start anything today, practice-wise, and he tweaked his hamstring. Again, hope for speedy recovery. Tristan Hill, he's naturally coming back from his ACL. Hopefully he's going to get worked back in, because with the defensive tackles that we drafted, his spot on the roster is not exactly a lock. Mitch Hyatt, he also is dealing with his knee injury from last year. He is usually our first swing tackle behind Tyron and Lael, but he had hurt his knee before the season began, I do believe. And that's why it was down to Terrence Steele and Brandon Knight. They were the next guys on the list. But usually you'll see Mitch Hyatt, because I know for years we've seen him in all the preseason games, and he tries to hold it down on his part. But, you know, the rest of the line isn't as complimentary. But hopefully, you know, he's rehabbing and coming back. Demarcus Lawrence had, and speaking of Demarcus, not just Demarcus, but Greg Zuerlein, both of those guys had back issues, and they both had procedures after the season was over to clear up some things. It's not, you know, major surgeries, but it's just a cleanup for Demarcus's part. Greg, he's had a couple back issues recently, but he has been playing full from 2019 into 2020, and now this is cropping up. But that will make Hunter Nusswander now having to take the kicking and punt duties, which is great practice for him, because I know they were trying to bring in Angerer to compete against him, but if you're switching over to one guy to take care of almost everything, you know, you're going to have a better chance to cement your place. And also, wide receiver TJ Vasher is on the non-football injury list with a knee problem. So that's our PUP list beginning. And again, thanks to Omar, because I wasn't really paying attention. But what you don't see on the PUP list is equally as exciting, is that Dak is not on it. Blake Jarwin's not on it. None of the offensive linemen. So that means when we trot out and start doing these practices like we do, our full complement of the offense is there. There's no holding back. We're going to have the whole offense, from quarterback, running back, wide receivers, to offensive line, to tight ends. Everybody's there. So that's a great start for the offense. It's just the defense that's going to have to start shoring up some things, getting people in places right, getting communications down, and figuring out the depth charts. But all in all, it's a good start. And last thing I wanted to talk about was the COVID-19 protocols. The NFL sent out the memo about an hour and a half ago, stating that unvaccinated players, if it comes up that they spread the virus amongst the area, the team, the offices, and all that, that there's no more moving games. There's no more rescheduling. You're just going to forfeit those games. Your opponent's going to get a win, and you're going to get a loss. And then teams are going to have to compensate the team that was ready to play in lost revenue. So NFL is cracking down on it. They're trying to get 100% vaccinations. For guys like Cole Beasley, who's staunch against it, it's coming down to, you know, it's going to be your job on the line. Because if you do anything to disrupt Buffalo and they end up having to forfeit games because of you, you're going to have a whole different stance on Twitter than what you've been talking. But that's whatever. He doesn't seem to care. He's steadfast by his beliefs, even though, you know, science and everything's against him. And Mark Cuban has even offered him exactly what he wanted, but you don't see him taking it. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about real quick. If any other news happens, we'll talk about it tonight after work. I've determined that, you know, usually I just wait till the next day to handle it. But now, if I got to get off work to talk about it, I will. If I have to go live at night, I will, just to get it all out. So, you know, everything's exciting. Everything's happening. I'm ready to start getting into it like everybody else. But until next time, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting down below. And I'll see you next time. This is VA Dallas Cowboy fan, out.